subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
I want to let you know before I start my conversation, offenders harass me. And that's the problem. You already know who that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everything's being recorded. Mustafa, everything's being recorded. Just tell me what's going on.
I just want to let you know what the idea is my team, and he's harassing me on a whole different level. Sergeant Leathers is, that's Clifford. What's the name? Clifton Leathers, and Chelsea Darling. His name is Chelsea. That's Darling. The bald head guy, he came in and he said, I'm taking all your shit.
Hey, Mustafa.
He came in and smashed all my stuff.
Let me ask you this.
He threw my religious book on the floor, took my prayer rug, and took everything.
Let me ask you this. Do you think they're retaliating against you because you're coming forward against correctional officer Eric Lindsay and what he did to inmate Juan Campos that died this past Wednesday?
1,000,000%. This is just odd behavior. They're definitely retaliating.
Call the Lord.
First Sergeant Darling told me he's going to take all my shit. He came into my cell with Officer Salas and Sergeant Leathers, and they came into my cell. They manhandled me, put me in handcuffs. She took off my shoes. She said she's searching for weapons. All that crazy shit. They took off all my stuff. Took my mattress. They took out all my commissary. They poured pickle juice all over my paperwork, all my stuff. They just ransacked my whole room and left it just empty, just echo in the background. I wrote a grievance and I was trying to turn it. They won't accept it. About them coming into my cell, roughing me up, stepping all over my prayer rug, throwing my Quran on the floor, and just like pouring pickle juice all over my property and just like ransacking my cell, harassing and threatening me. And today, Sergeant Nordike, he comes in, he delivers my lunch, he throws my lunch inside my cell, chili spills everywhere, everything spilled all over the floor, the chili packet.
Let's see.
Nuggets in my dinner tray. So all I'm saying is he's eating my food. There's no food, and I tell him to call the kitchen. I tell him to call the kitchen, and they're over here just like ignoring.
What did he do? What did he do? What did he do? Say that one more time.
He threw my lunch bag inside my cell, and the chili container poured all over the floor and all over my food. So that's one. When I was like,
well, what's his name?
That's Sergeant Nordike, Jeffrey Nordike.
He went into your cell yesterday?
No, he came in today.
And say it one more time. I want you to say it one more time. He went into your cell today, and yeah.
The one that came into my cell yesterday, the sergeant, his name is Sergeant Darling. Sergeant Darling came into my cell with Sergeant Leathers and Officer Salas. They came into my cell, roughed me up yesterday, put my hands on the wall, put me in handcuffs. Officer Salas says she's searching for weapons while she's taking off my shoes while Sergeant Darling is yelling in my face, telling me, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your brother. I don't give a fuck about your attorney. And you're never getting the fuck out of here. While they're stepping on my prayer rug and they throw my religious books on the floor, my Quran, everything. They pour pickle juice all over my property. They ransacked my room. They took everything out. And then they left me in my cell like just distraught and like scared. Like, what the fuck is going on? I fear for my life from these people. These are criminals. Food in the trash. They wait the next, like when he was like, I'm fasting and stuff. He's like, I'm not supposed to be getting my food right now. They went and threw his food in the trash.
All right. What's going on with the Quran? What's going on with the Quran? What's going on with the prayer rug?
Nah, they went, when they came in his room, like they basically just stepped on everything and just went haywire and grabbed all his shit. Like, they grabbed all his stuff and just balled it all up and threw it out his room. Because when they threw it out his room, they threw it in front of my room. They threw it in front of my cell door.
You saw the correctional officer throw his Quran out the room?
They threw everything out the room. They took everything that was in his room and they threw it out. Everything. Everything he had in his room, all his commissary, all that stuff, they came and threw it out the room in front of my door and stuff. And literally, when I look out my door, all his stuff was sitting right in front of my daggone door, all on the floor and stuff.
An inmate is approved William Manassas jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up. Your current balance is 30.
They gave him that 30-day sentence and stuff, and I had helped. I testified in his behalf and stuff, but it didn't even make no. They basically ignored what I stated and stuff. They say he had made a threat to the officer, basically saying that he would
come to their home or some stuff like that, but he never stated that whatsoever. Like, the sergeant basically threatened him, like, to come in his cell had he not stated, if he not stated their name, if he said their name, the CO's names again, he was going to come in his cell and take everything out. But, of course, that's no rule in the rule book. If you got a name, it's your name. I mean, if I know your first or your last name, it's still your name. So if you want to be addressed by it or not, that's your name to me. That's to being addressed by. But he ended up still coming in his cell anyway and taking all his stuff up out of his cell, like mattress, everything, just to be an asshole, because he said, well, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it, because I know it's not breaking I'm not breaking no rule or whatever, but because the sergeant wanted to be an asshole, went out of his way to go in his cell to take all his stuff out and throw it on the floor and stuff. And when he threw it on the floor, I'm like, damn, that's messed up, because he didn't do nothing wrong on that factor. Like, he been asking the COs, because we got intercom and they don't answer the intercom. Like, I know I can press my intercom button and it doesn't get responded to at least till, like, give or say a whole day or two later that they answer my intercom. So what we do is when the COs come do a cell check, you got to kind of catch the CO while they're going to check to let them know what it is you need, because they don't answer nobody's intercom. So that particular day, they didn't answer his intercom. So when the COs came through, he acknowledged, like, hey, can I speak with you and stuff? They ignored. He said, all I'm asking for is that I can get the tremors, because I asked on Wednesday and y'all still didn't give me no tremors on Wednesday and stuff, and I've been asking, could I get them every day, and y'all haven't given them to me. So they clearly ignored him and stuff, and he's like, because they ignored him and didn't want to say anything, now they're not answering the intercom. Anybody can press these buttons for the intercom, and all they do is just flash on the computer screen. They could be sitting right there looking right at it, because I can look at my door, out my room door, and clearly look at where the intercom computer is sitting at and stuff, and they could be sitting right there just looking at it and clearly ignore it. Like, they ignored it this morning and stuff. I had an incident, I'll tell you about it and stuff, but like, his particular, he asked me to be and I even told him, like, he didn't ask me, I told him, when they do his hearing, I'll be a witness as to what happened. But when they still heard my testimony and stuff, they didn't even care about what I stated, and I stated to him, he didn't get written up that day, and he wouldn't have got written up. The sergeant had ran in the cell and stuff for being in the wrong, but just trying to be a bully figure, basically saying, oh, I got more pull than you, watch what I do to show you that I ain't playing around or whatever and stuff. But he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do any threatening manner or anything like that. The incident only occurred that he was asking for the tremors. The COs didn't come back to his room and stuff. Instead, a sergeant came back to his room, and the sergeant came and was like, don't be calling my officers names and stuff, or I'll come in your cell and take everything up out of there. He's like, well, the officers ain't there going to answer me. They don't answer the intercom, which I'm clearly aware of that. And they didn't answer me when I asked them to come talk to me and stuff. They clearly ignored him and kept it moving. Like, every time they'll pass by a cell, they just keep going. They ignore everybody for the most part. Like, for the ones that do want to do the ignoring and stuff. You have some good COs, but the rest of them, they're in this unit, they don't care. Like, they could be at any other unit and they would answer the intercom and all that. But here, it's basically like you get treated to, like, the bottom of the bottom. Like, you don't get any type of respect, even if you're in trouble or not in trouble. It's just they don't care about you. They want to make sure that however the torture method could work to where you're feeling to where you're, what's that word, that you're not in a comfortable state, or things like, I won't say not a comfortable state, but if you're not they want you to not be comfortable. They don't want you to be relaxed. So they can figure out any type of method to not have you being relaxed or whatever. They apply that by not answering you, by not getting what you need to get squared away, like, and you're talking to these people with respect, but they can care less about that. Like, they're raising attitude and some more stuff, like, back at you, just to show that they don't care about you and stuff. Like, I go through this, like, I had an issue today where I was given some meds 5 days ago, and I was supposed to have some stuff sent to the lab. Turns out that they didn't send the stuff to the lab. They just gave me some medicines, and my body basically had a reaction off of it to where my body shut down on me, which caused me to be throwing up and everything. Like, I've been sick, like, this whole beginning of this day and stuff, and I haven't even been able to eat and stuff. Like, and had I not gone to the see the doctor or would just go down to the medical unit, I wouldn't have realized that the stuff that I had gave to them to have sent to the lab so I could figure out exactly my issue to save them the hassle so they didn't have to do any wild guessing. Turns out they didn't send it to the lab. They just threw it in the trash can. And I'm like, if I'd known that I was going to throw it into the trash can, I would have just took it and held on to it, and y'all could have maybe had me go see somebody outside the jail. But not because this medicine y'all gave me, I'm having my body's not taking this stuff. Basically, I was end up like where it shut my stomach down, had my blood pressure high, everything and stuff. But that's the only reason that I found out when I asked the doctor when I went today. I said, hey, there was some stuff sent to the lab. What was the results and stuff? Like, he was like, there's nothing got sent to the lab. And the nurse that had took the stuff from out of my hand, it was in the bag. She basically was in the room today, and she just kept walking out, and I didn't pay any attention to why she was walking out. I just kept informing the doctor that, hey, there was some stuff sent to the lab and stuff. Like, that way it wasn't no wild guess. But instead, they threw that in the trash and just gave me some wild guessing medicine to take to see if it worked. And instead of them finding out exactly what the issue was, that would have came back from the lab, it never got sent. So basically, it's a lot of crap going on in here and stuff. Like,
Yeah, the name of the correctional officer that said Mustafa threatened her. What's the name of that correctional officer?
Mustafa is a female, and he didn't threaten her whatsoever. He didn't even threaten her. Like, that was
You said he did not threaten her. By the way,
no, he didn't threaten her.
Okay.
He didn't threaten her. When he asked her, when he stated her name, because they kept walking by, both officers kept walking by his cell. Nobody would pay any attention. They didn't answer his intercom. That was the main thing. He's like, answer my intercom or whatever. They didn't. So when they walked by the cell, and then he's like, yo, come talk to me. Like, all I want is the clippers and stuff. I've been asking for these clippers since Wednesday, and nobody gave me the clippers. Like, they didn't do anything. So he's calling their names like, hey, like, because they don't answer the intercom. I clearly know they don't answer the intercom. My intercom button, if I push it now, I guarantee you nothing get answered. Like, and my button is it's still probably up there flashing and stuff. Like, it's basically on the intercom on the computer. It's a little a call sign, like a little a horn, a speaker horn or whatever, basically flashes that indicate that somebody's trying to basically be their intercom. They're pressing for to have the officer answer to them. So if there's an emergency or anything, it's irrelevant because you can push it. And if they don't come do their check or whatever and stuff, basically the intercom would have been something that could have been a heads up to have them acknowledge to your issue. But because they didn't answer it, you got to wait for them to come by your room.
So what? She's upset because Mustafa is calling her by her name, so she accusing him of threatening her?
So this is what she did. She called the sergeant. And had the sergeant come up. And she didn't come to the room. When she had the sergeant come up, the sergeant came and said, why you there gonna call my officer's name and stuff? And my officer said, hey, I've been trying to get them to acknowledge me, trying to get them to come and talk to me and stuff. I had an issue, and they're not trying to talk to me. And the issue was the tremors. The electric tremors, he's been trying to get Lily since Wednesday, and they've been brushing him off. Like, and I know they brush people off because I get brushed off. It's just, I basically just stay out the way to where I don't even ask them no questions because I know what they're going to be already in the mix of doing and stuff. Like, so she didn't come back to his room. She had the sergeant come, and then the sergeant is basically throwing his threats. Oh, if you say my officer's name again and stuff, I'm going to come in your cell and take everything and stuff. And I'm in my room laughing like, that's not it. You can't come in his cell because he's trying to get their attention. When the officers, when the COs need to be addressed, they say you ask the unit officer. You ask the unit officer, and then unit officer will address the situation. But if the unit officer is not responding to you and not acknowledging you, then you're calling that unit officer. You're calling like he's literally saying their name to get their attention to say, hey, I need to speak to you, and they're completely ignoring him. Like, and I know that they do that ignoring stage because I didn't been in here long enough, like, so I know their whole routine of how things work and stuff. You got some good COs, and then you got the ones that just get over their heads. But he never stated out of his mouth that he's going to go to her house and threaten her to do some harm to her house. The incident only took place is that he asked for the tremors. When they didn't acknowledge him, the unit officers, the female, called the sergeant and had the sergeant come to his door, and the sergeant started making these threats. Mustafa stated, hey, like, I know that, like, this ain't even no threat or whatever and stuff, that me calling their name, and the only way that I'm going to get the address because they're not answering the intercom is I'm calling their name so they can come address me. But he's like, if you say my officer's name one more time and stuff, I'm going to come in your cell and take everything out of there. And I'm like, yo, why would he say that? Like, that's not even something wrong. He's calling the officer's name because he wants to he wants to speak. He's trying to speak to the officers, and the officers are ignoring him. So he's like, I don't care. Do what you please, basically, because I didn't do anything wrong and stuff. So like, if you want to come in my cell and everything, it is what it is. So then he gets bucked because Mustafa is like, hey, like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead, because I ain't doing anything wrong and stuff. So he opened the door up. So now he's telling the officer, open the door up and everything so he can prove a point that was not a point to prove, because
The officer is saying, open the door. The officer just screaming. The sergeant. Okay, the sergeant. Okay.
Open his door up because Mustafa said, hey, like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead, because I know I didn't do anything wrong. Because I know Mustafa didn't do anything wrong. If I ain't do nothing wrong and stuff, and you're only doing it because you're trying to bully me and stuff, go ahead. Like, it ain't gonna prove no point or whatever and stuff, but because you're trying to be big head and bold, because you kind of they got the upper hand and stuff.
Okay.
Like,
So at that point, the sergeant starts screaming, open the door, open the door. Okay. And then what happened?
So when he's like, open his door up and stuff, the course, you think they're not going to open it up? That's what they want. They wanted that they're going to have a confrontation with him and stuff. So when they open the door up and everything, they like, put your hands up against the wall and stuff like that. I'm if I bang on I'm in cell 11, he's in cell 12. So that's how close we are and stuff. Like, I'm literally right next to the cell next to him. They even tried to move me like a couple of days ago, but let's still go back to so he's like, open his door up and everything. So when they finally open his door, they go and they start throwing all the stuff out of his room and everything. And I'm laughing like, yo, like, why are y'all doing that? Because y'all know that's not even no charge that he did. And he didn't state the CO's name again for him to daggone say open the door. Mustafa just said, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. He didn't daggone open his mouth up to say the CO's names again or anything. So when they took all his stuff out of his room, 10 minutes later, literally, they came and gave him all his stuff back. And I'm like, yo, like, he didn't do nothing wrong anyway. So that was just a waste of time to go destroy his room for something that he didn't do. And the whole matter is that you stated this. If he stated their names, he could state their names. Their names is there on something because they're not addressing the intercom. So he's addressing them by their name, being respectful to get his attention so he can question the issue or state the issue that he has. But here it is now, you're so mad or whatever because he knows their names. You want to go and destroy his room and stuff, take all his stuff out of his room. And they didn't charge him. They brought all his stuff back 10 minutes later. And I was laughing because I'm like, why did y'all do that? Like, it was nothing that no matter. It was just one trying to be bigger than the other, like one trying to be a bully. So took his stuff out just to bring it right back to him. I'm like, that was a waste of time. Like, y'all should have just left his stuff where it was at and stuff because he didn't say anything wrong. So that whole day went through, nothing was wrong or anything and stuff. And then the next day, around about 11 or 10 o'clock, they came and I thought they knocked on my door. That's what made me get up to wonder, like, what the fuck they knocked, excuse my language, but what they knocked on my door for. There was no reason for them to knock on my door, but when I realized they was talking to my boss, they was like, you have a charge for basically yada yada, but I didn't pay attention to what the initial charge was until I asked them, like, yo, what you get rolled up for? He said that when they said he threatened to go to an officer's house and stuff to do some harm. And I'm like, you never even stated no address or nothing. Like, there was nothing about an officer's house to threaten. It was the only issue was that he asked for the tremors and he didn't get the tremors, but the only threat there was the sergeant coming and running in his room, taking all his stuff out. And then the people in the pod kept saying, yo, like, what you do to get on top security list and stuff. And he don't know that's on his door. I can't see that it's on his door, but everybody keeps saying, yo, how you get on TSL? So when he asked the CO, like, am I on TSL? They're like, yeah, you're on TSL and stuff. They're like, how the heck I get put on TSL and stuff? But that's because they made the fraudulent statement that he threatened the CO to go to her crib or whatever. So when he had his hearing yesterday on, what was that, Tuesday, they came, had his hearing and stuff. He had me there going...
Tuesday is, Lamar, Tuesday is April the 9th, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
He had his DUR or whatever.
DDU. It's a DDU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had his hearing, and I told Mustafa, I said, add me as a witness, and we're not going to discuss what it is because I'm going to state what it is that happened from my view and from what I heard. And, that way it wasn't nothing to where it will be, we rehearsed this. And I even told the officer, I said, this is not being rehearsed or whatever and stuff. I told him, put me as a witness, and I'm not going to state no more. I know what took place that day and stuff. So when they do the hearing, I state my facts of what took place and stuff. But I stated what happened in the same form. They still came back, and the only reason why they gave him so much time and everything because it's a tactic of punishing him, basically. Punishing for something that he didn't do, and they do that a lot.
Yeah, Lamar, how you said something about they were trying to move you out of that cell. Why were they trying to move you?
I think they was trying to get me away from him. They was trying to move, like, literally. And that thing is, I can't go upstairs.
Away from him? Away from Mustafa?
I think they was trying to get from Mustafa.
Why?
They came one day because they know that, like, I'm not no like dysfunctional mind or anything like that. So they know, like, if there's something I hear or anything, like, it won't be something of no lie. Like, I don't do drugs and stuff like that. So if it is something I want to state or whatever, I'm going to state it. If it is something I want to hear, I'm going to hear it. But they came, let's say, they came, I'm going to say on Monday, they came to my cell deep as I don't know what and stuff, and they're like, oh, you got to move. So
on Monday? This is April 8th, okay?
No. Okay, hold on. They came on
Sunday, April 7th, okay?
They came on Sunday, and they're like, oh, you got to move and stuff. So I'm like, what, y'all about to take me back downstairs to the unit y'all just moved me from? So basically they could put some dope sick person in the cell. So I'm like, y'all gonna take me right back down? And they're like, oh, nah, you're not moving from the unit or whatever. You're going upstairs. So I was like, upstairs? I was like, I can't go up the stairs. Like, I have a medical condition to where I'm not supposed to be nowhere on the top level and stuff. They're like, well, you gotta move upstairs and everything. I was like, well, I ain't moving. I took my sheets and covered my face right back up and everything. Didn't even pay. So I was like, you gotta call classifications and get that address with classification because I'm not supposed to be up on the top level. So they when he walked off, he never came back.
Do you know the name of this correctional officer?
Oh shit, he's in here today. He worked today shift.
Is it the same correctional officer that was involved on the Friday incident?
Nah,
It was a different. Okay, let me answer this.
There's still an officer that don't like him. Like, the officers don't. The CO, I mean, yeah, they don't. The sergeants and stuff, they don't like your brother. They can't stand his guts.
Yes, sir.
This officer, I think it's Cheneyfield. It's
Cheneyfield.
Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, like, he's here today. Like, I know he's here today because I mean, I know the faces and
so
everything.
Cheneyfield tried to move you. Okay, all right. Let me ask you let me ask you a question. So he tried to move you on Sunday. Now the incident happened.
On Sunday, right?
Now this incident between the correctional officer and Mustafa happened on Friday, correct?
Yeah, that happened on Friday. Yeah,
Okay.
they came on Sunday to try to move me and stuff.
Okay.
Basically trying to separate my room from where he was at. And then he's like, "Oh, you want to go to a room with the lights off, right?" And stuff. I'm like, "I've been in this cell for so long already with these lights on. That stuff don't bother me no more with the lights stand on 24/7. Like, I'm like, I know your whole reason is to get me away from him. So when I'm like, y'all can't move me because I had this medical condition." So he never came back. Then the next day
So-
they came.
You have.
So they don't want you. So let me get this right. They want to move you away from Mustafa so that way you don't testify and be a witness.
Basically, yeah, they didn't know
Okay.
I was going to be a witness for his Tuesday case. And
Um,
stuff, but they're just
Lamar,
trying to,
can you
like,
state your first and last name?
Oh, it's Lamar, Lamar, last name McNeil.
McNeil. You're in what cell number you're in?
11.
11.
He's
You're in D-Pod.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And today is
And they
April
tried to move
10.
me again.
If the phone ends, call back. Okay. I think you got 30 seconds.
I know, because I only got like 5 minutes. They tried, but I called right back.
All right. Good to go, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But they came back again though and tried to move me. That was on Monday. They tried to move me, and this time they're like, "Oh, you don't got nothing with classification standards. You got a medical issue and stuff like that. So you got to move. You got to pack your stuff up." I said, "I am not supposed to be on that top bunk. And if I go on that on the top level, y'all want to move me right back downstairs. So why are y'all trying to get me out of my joint?" I said, "Y'all can look and see yesterday that I
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Today is Wednesday, April 10. Time is 9:24.
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hey, Lamar.
yeah, my bad.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. I got a question for you. Did they move any other inmate?
Yeah, because they didn't move me right. Then they gonna go and just move the other people just like it wasn't nothing. And there's so many other people you could move, but yet instead they were trying to get me to move. Now, when I say they came on Sunday, what they did was took my name off of their paperwork that I had to be moved, because the next day I said ask classifications like that I'm not supposed to be moved. They said, "Well, classifications right here," which he was right there and stuff. They was like, "Well, we don't have nothing." So I said, "Y'all better go check that computer and everything, because it don't matter if I come in here and don't state anything. It's on a computer that I have a medical issue that I'm not supposed to be on the top level." They came.
So on
again,
Friday,
like I
so
said,
so on Friday, April 5th, they Mustafa asked for the trimmer, and correctional officer. So there are 3 correctional officers that are involved. Correctional officer Jessica Salas, that's the female
that name
correctional.
there, correct. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
female.
That's the
That's
Spanish
the one he
correctional
called.
officer. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Chelsea L. Darling.
The Chelsea Darling, like that might be the daggone correction, the CO that was here today and stuff. But I'm
Okay.
about to see if that's the same one.
Okay, and there is
But yeah,
Clifton. There's Clifton S. Leathers. Okay, there's 3 correctional
that's the
officers.
male. Yeah.
No. Okay, so
Now,
yeah.
she called the sergeant when he was calling her name to get her attention, because none of them, the 2 unit officers, were basically ignoring him. And he's asking like, "Hey, I've asked for these trimmers and I couldn't get the trimmers and everything, but y'all not picking the intercom up." Of course, because they don't pick the intercom up. Even the same day when they had his hearing and stuff, I said, "Go look at the screen on the computer and you'll see my joint is still flashing. It's been flashing for hours."
This is Friday, April 5th. Now, what there was this during the daytime, nighttime?
Nah, this was like mid-afternoon, like not even like the beginning of the afternoon, like around 1-ish or something like that, give or
Okay.
say. This was like literally like around 1 o'clock when it took place. It wasn't no late afternoon or whatever. And that day literally is the day when they even messed up. Like they brought him his food and stuff, which they know he was on his fasting and stuff. But because like he didn't know like what they was going to do, like he just went on ahead and got his food. He got his food because he's like, "Damn, y'all gonna run in my room for no reason and stuff. Like I'm not gonna take the risk." When they was giving him his stuff back, They gave it back, and then they brought him his food. He's like, I'm not going to take the chance of y'all trying to do me dirty and stuff, which they still did. They still brought him his food, then threw it in the trash and stuff.
They threw it in the trash? They threw his food in the trash?
They threw his food in the trash. They wait the next, like, when he was like, I'm fasting and stuff, he's like, I'm not supposed to be getting my food right now. They went and threw his food in the trash.
And, okay, all right, so, all right. What's going on with the Quran? What's going on with the Quran? What's going on with the prayer rug?
Nah, they went, when they came in his room, like, they basically just stepped on everything and just went haywire and grabbed all his shit. Like, excuse my language, they grabbed all his stuff and just balled it all up and threw it out his room. Because when they threw it out his room, they threw it in front of my room. They threw it in front of my cell door.
You saw the correctional officer throw his Quran out the room?
They threw everything out the room. They took everything that was in his room and they threw it out. Matt, everything. Everything he had in his room, all his commissary, all that stuff, they came and threw it out the room in front of my door and stuff. And literally, when I look out my door, all his stuff was sitting right in front of my daggone door, all on the floor and stuff. And then I'm like, yo, that's so messed up, because he said he didn't care. Like, he know he wasn't doing nothing wrong. It wasn't no threat to ask the officer. Anytime there's an issue, they say you ask your unit officer first. So unit officers are ignoring him. They called the sergeant up. The female, she called and had the sergeant come up. And when the sergeant was like, stop saying my CO's name, my correction officer's name and stuff, or I'm gonna run in your cell. I'm gonna take everything up out of there. He like, okay, and if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Instead of like, I mean, that's basically because you're threatening him, like, trying to just be big or whatever for him saying their names. But he's been trying to get their attentions, and they've been ignoring him. So he's popped the cell, open the door, open the cell, pop the cell door. So it didn't open up right then and there and stuff. It gave it like 2 or 3 minutes later. He opened the cell door up and everything.
That's the correctional officer. Correctional officer is screaming, open his cell, open Mustafa's cell. The sergeant. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because Mustafa didn't basically, he didn't say their names no more. He said, stop saying my correction officer's name and stuff. He didn't say that. But when he said, stop saying my corrections officer's name, he said, stop saying my corrections officer's name, or I'm going to come in your cell and take everything up out of there.
And all Mustafa was trying to do is trying to get the correctional officer attention so he can get the tremor that he's been asking for.
So he can at least even speak to him to ask him about the tremors, but they completely ignored him. Didn't say nothing about it, didn't answer. They called the sergeant, had the sergeant come up here, and then the sergeant comes to the door and was like, oh, you need to stop. Don't be saying my corrections officer's name and stuff, because, I mean, he's like, don't be saying my corrections officer's name, or I'm going to come in your cell and take everything up out of there and stuff. But my foster was like, I've been trying to get their attention, but they've been ignoring me. Like, they ain't acknowledged me, which I know that they didn't. They clearly walked by and stuff. So when he's like, fine, if that's what you want to do and stuff, the sergeant didn't like that fact that, oh yeah, they about to take the phone from me and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, the sergeant literally, because he was like, I didn't care. He was like, I didn't care, whatever. Like, if you want to run in my room and take the stuff out of here, I didn't do nothing wrong for you to do that. But that's the whole thing. He like, pop the door, open the door. And then they went in there. He took all this stuff out, ransacked his room, just to give it back to him 10 minutes later. Everything. So yeah, it's been craziness going on and stuff. I'm gonna go and write my stuff. I'm gonna write my grievance and stuff for this medical issue that I had.
And yeah. Lamar, right now it's 9:33 p.m. Today is Wednesday, April 10. And if you can do me a favor, sir, please state your first and last name and the cell number that you're in and the unit that you're in.
All right, my name is Lamar McNeil. First name is Lamar, last name McNeil. I'm in D-Pod. I'm in cell 11 next to Mustafa, which is in cell 12. And that is in Delta Unit 19, and I'm in cell 11. And once again, my name is Lamar and my name is Lamar McNeil. That's first name Lamar, last name Mcneil.
Hey brother, I appreciate you. You're in my prayers. Please keep us in your prayers. And the Lord is at work. The fact that you get to call me and tell me what's happening on the inside, this is the Lord at work. And
I I
Yes, sir.
clearly know like the crap that go on in here and stuff,
Yes, sir.
but I just be biting my tongue and stuff. But it's like I'm not biting my tongue on medical issues and stuff like that, like things that's unnecessary.
And
like, so yeah.
Lamar, just really quick before you leave, Mustafa has exonerating evidence. We got a letter from Internal Affairs admitting that the police officer falsified his police report. Mustafa's story was on NBC4 3 weeks ago, telling the community that they falsified his police report. Mustafa's coming out, and this police officer is going to jail for a long time. It's, you know. Yes, sir.
My report is messed up too, so I got the same thing. I got it messed up. Like, they only charged me with this so I could be held in this jail for as long as possible on a false charge. But when you give them a wrong charge or whatever, I got to go through the process of fighting it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go through the process of fighting it and stuff. So it is, but yes, they lied on me so many times. And I have one case that I can't even go to court for, and it's a misdemeanor. My court date has been changed like 3 or 4 times or whatever, and I have not been able to get on a stand to testify in my own behalf on a charge that I literally can beat. But because they know that I could beat it, they're trying to cover up the fact. So I know how this works. This is the most corruptive county there is. Fairfax and Prince William County is the corruptest county when it comes to the law system. But I have to get off this phone, so I'll call you back later and stuff. But they pressing me for this phone, so let me go ahead and get it to you.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to go, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, take it.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Time is 9:37 p.m. Today is Wednesday, April 10th.